We loud?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I want to make a YouTube channel.
Hmm?
I want to make one of them YouTube channels with like I draw. Like I record drawing.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing is I have to already know how to draw the picture because like I don't want.
Hello, hello. Hey, y'all. Hey, Kanisha. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Kimmy. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Hey, Jamie girl. I'm glad to be back. A lot has happened in my absence. Oh my goodness, a lot has happened in my absence. Mm-mm-mm. All right, so my I did something fancy with my chat. So I'm trying to see if it's coming through. We about to find out in a couple seconds. I'm just giving y'all a couple seconds. Y'all already know what I'm here to talk about. A lot has happened in the past, week? It's been like a week maybe? Since Judge Whitaker got on this trial. And a lot of things have happened. A lot. Hey, Miss Tasha. Y'all say hi to Miss Tasha. Okay, I thought I did something real fancy with my chat. I didn't. It's not working. Hey, Miss Tasha, all is well. I was a little bit under the weather yesterday. I wanted to go live yesterday. It didn't work out. I was a little bit under the weather, but I'm back. But yeah, y'all show Miss Tasha some love. Miss Tasha is Diamante Kendrick's mom. And just so you know, Miss Tasha, we all support what's going on on the defense side on this page. Hi, Siobhan. Let me get my setup together so I can make sure y'all see this motion that Doug Weinstein, this supplemental motion, because we're not really concerned with the motion itself or the supplement. We want to talk about the transcript. That's why we're here. And just so y'all, I have my niece with me, so I'm gonna ask y'all to say hi to her in a minute. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure y'all can see everything that I'm looking at. All right, let me know if y'all can see this motion, please. Thank you, Miss Tasha. I'm definitely feeling better. Kanisha, don't laugh at me. Y'all take me seriously. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, before we start, let me let y'all say hi to my baby. Say hi, Eva.
Hi.
Hold on, let me make sure y'all can see her. Come on,
Hi.
say hi. Get closer.
Wait.
Okay, I think they can see you.
Hi.
I think they saw you. Did y'all see Eva? They said hi, baby.
Hey.
But yeah, so I want to get through as much as I can. Where do we even start, y'all? Where do we even start? I'm gonna let y'all take the lead. So we have a new judge. First and foremost, my first and foremost opinion is that I think that Judge Whitaker kind of popped the balloon on a lot of the excitement that was going on about this ex parte meeting. the first day of being in court with her, I thought, all hell was gonna break loose. We're gonna have some action. It's gonna be exciting. And she was she was pretty mellow, which I expected. She's a judge, so she's supposed to be centered about what's going on. She was in the center, and I thought everything was just gonna die down. Essentially, that was my expectation, that we just, we would deal with these motions as they come, and we would hear her ruling. And then, just as that was happening, lo and behold, y'all, we got another ex parte meeting. We have a second earlier ex parte meeting than the June 10th ex parte meeting. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, I am shocked and appalled. And I am in, like, by no stretch of the imagination am I the most experienced criminal defense attorney in the world, right? There are plenty of attorneys with decades more experience than I have. But in my little career, I'm just joking, it ain't little, it's big. But in my career, this is unheard of. This is outrageous and it's unheard of. And that's the nice way of putting it. I think we heard Miss Love kind of say that there was another meeting, or there was some discussion that there was a transcript for. But I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think that it was that kind of meeting. I didn't think we were about to get what we got. Yeah, Miss Tasha, sad, disgusting. I'm like Max Sharp. Like, this is trash. This is disgusting. This is shocking. This is appalling. We don't know what, judges are humans. They have favorites. They have friends that are also lawyers. They have attorneys that they have better relationships with. All of that is fine. Like, they're humans. But to be in an active trial, in the midst of an active trial, and allowing the prosecution without, from my perspective, without evidence, right? Other than what, Adrienne Love is saying that she is perceiving. I don't even know how to, it's almost so ridiculous that it's hard to really put into words how ridiculous it is. Right. What they said, but what do they also say, Miss Tasha, about the fish rotting from the head down? Leadership is supposed to come from the top. Chief Judge, I agree. I find it shocking. I find it shocking because it's in a transcript. I don't find it necessarily shocking that it ever happens. I find it crazy that it's on a transcript. And it's just pure speculation and assumption and accusations without any evidence. And other than the fact that it is going on, I also find it like obnoxious. I have a real issue with this when Juanita, what did I say when I heard about the first ex parte? You mean the one on June 7th? Thank you, Eva. Yeah, so that's what we're getting into now. I find it something that really grinds my gears as a criminal defense attorney is hearing prosecutors talk about what's in the best interest of the witness, what's in the best interest of the defense. Let's be clear, right? I have a job as a defense attorney. And what's in the best interest of the victim and what's in the best interest of the witness is not my damn concern when I'm representing my client. And I not to say that they're, prosecutors are saying let's do harm to these people, but don't come at me saying that, you're concerned that the way that you're moving is because you're concerned about these people and, what happens to them. And that's not what's going on. What's going on is you are couching your concern, but underneath it is the fact that this witness being Woody, being Kenneth Copeland, he is not doing what you want him to do. You have not been able to manipulate him. He's not moving the way you want him to. And it almost feels like why are you playing with our intelligence? Like, we're all watching this. We all see it. Woody's not afraid. That's not what's going on, right? To think to put it out there that the implication, and we're gonna read the transcript, but the overall implication is that the reason that Woody suddenly testified in the way he did was because Melnick and Max Sharp and Brian Steele and, you know, maybe other defense attorneys too are colluding together, and they kind of made it happen that way. Like, before Melnick showed up, Woody was gonna say what we thought he was gonna say. And who do y'all think y'all fooling? Y'all have not one witness has gotten on the stand and testified in a way that was, I don't even want to say favorable, because some of them have said some favorable things to the state, but in a way that makes us believe that you have a bunch of witnesses that are cooperating with you. All of your witnesses have not been cooperative. So why, like, it's an insult to all of our everybody that's watching, everybody that's paying attention, everyone in the public, all of the attorneys. It's an insult. And I don't know if it is intentional, like an attempt at manipulation, or they are just refusing to see what is obvious to every damn body else, which is that these people don't want to help y'all convict anybody that is currently on trial. They don't want to help y'all do that. Point blank, period. They want to protect the public's view of the court and the system, mistrial with prejudice. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little bit on the fence about that, whether or not I thought that was going to happen, and what. But after the Lord, yeah, Juanita, Max Sharp did not hold back. Not even like a little bit. Like, Max Sharp did not hold back a tiny little bit. He was not for it, and let's keep it above. We have not really seen him like that. We haven't really seen him like that in trial. He's gotten a little, you know, but not like that. Miss Tasha said, I do like the fact that Judge Whitaker is holding DA Love accountable. Y'all, let's take it a step back. Twice, Judge Whitaker told Adrienne Love to take her responsibility to be honest and truthful with the court more seriously. Y'all, the judge is basically saying, you lied to me. You are lying. You are not being completely honest. You are not being upfront. You're withholding. You are either blatantly lying, you are withholding misinformation, etc., etc. I'm glad you brought that up, Ms. Tasha, because those are two of like the worst things that could happen as an attorney, right? When you go into a courtroom, it doesn't matter, civil or criminal, whatever kind of case you are involved in, you go into a courtroom, you want to be the person in the courtroom with the most credibility. The person in the courtroom with the most credibility, they shift the courtroom, right? They are able to not be in control, but they are able to make things happen in the courtroom way differently than somebody who the judge does not trust. And the way you don't trust, you lose trust, is to leave stuff out or to misquote case law. And she did both of those things. Twice we saw that happen. Twice. Like, that's like oh my God. I can't. Max has been so patient, and yes, like, people have been talking about it throughout this entire trial. Like, dang, why are you doing Max Sharp like that? Like, wow, he must have had some bad cases in front of him before. He must have had some issues with him before. That's the assumption. That's the way that people have been talking in the public because of the exchanges. And a couple times I was like, I'm confused. For example, when he was on the stand with, what was her name? Detective Gaither. And that whole exchange about like, oh, don't disrespect me, Mr. Sharp. I was like, whoa, like, where's that coming from? And the way that Judge Glanville responded threw me off too, because I'm like, I would expect you to check the witness. as opposed to engaging. Like, we're attorneys. Sometimes the questions are going to be aggressive. You might not like it. You might not like that I ask you a question that feels obvious to you, but you answer it. So the judge never checked the witness about it, but he came at Max Sharp, and I was confused. Overruled over and over again. Yeah. And Max Sharp was like, now I see why. Now I see why. Bless you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's becoming more and more shocking, and I agree completely with Max Sharp. He said this case is broken. It's what are we supposed to do? Like, what are we supposed to do? I agree. 100%. 100%. All right, so we are going to go through this motion quickly. Y'all. Has anybody in the chat they don't know what's going on? They don't understand where we are in the case. Is there anybody that has not been caught up for the last couple days? I feel like everybody is, because it's been a month and a half. So I feel like most people are probably Eva. Y'all, not Eva is sitting next to me commenting commenting in the chat. You ain't been watching Eva? No. Yeah. Yeah, so for anybody that, just in case, there's a couple people, where we are now is we are about a week into the new judge's case, right? The judge that is new on the case has been here for about a week, and she's kind of going through the, I don't know, maybe 12 to 15 motions that were filed over the past couple weeks, and a couple motions that were previously addressed. Initially, it started off with just being new motions, but as of, once we learned about this this new ex parte meeting, Max Sharp was very clear. Look, we need to address everything. We need to talk about everything that has been addressed previously by Judge Glanville. Everything. So that's where the defense is right now. Max Sharp has lost it in court. Doug Weinstein went off in his motion and essentially in court. And we watched this trial turn from a bunch of, seasoned attorneys that respect the process, and there is, respectful back and forth going on between at least the judge and the defense attorneys. It was contentious from the judge and the defense attorneys. It was contentious from the beginning with the prosecution. But now we're at a point where there is no one inside that courtroom on the defense side that's even speaking positively about Judge Glanville. And as an attorney that's in courtrooms, that, your credibility is everything. To have people blanketly make accusations just because they mad. Yeah, that's unacceptable. You leaving? Oh. That's unacceptable. Oh my God, Jamie. First of all, I am too emotional. But when he was like I've been doing this for, 20 plus years, and I came from civil court, I'm expecting that when I get into criminal cases, that the rules that we have in civil court, it's going to be even more strict here, because these are people what do you want me to say to my client? Knowing that, think about it, this is an attorney who is saying, no, I hold this judge in high regard. He knows what he's doing. I think he's being fair, trying to reassure his client, only to learn that the damn judge is sitting in the back drinking coffee and taking shots and laughing and kiki-keying and discussing the goings on of the court in the midst of the trial with the state attorneys. Y'all, that was sad. That is sad. Like, we keep saying this over and over again, these are people's lives. These are people's lives. Literally. Yep. Yeah, I had to like it was one of those moments where you just kind of sit in the fact that like, damn, like this is a trial where people, you know, if this goes wrong, their lives are changed forever anyway. But their lives are really changed if this goes wrong. So I definitely like I felt that sincerely, but I will say this, all of them have like some of the most capable attorneys that, you know, they are equipped to handle this. They all work really well together. They have mastered who's gonna handle what, whose role is what, right? They've done a really good job at mastering how they're gonna attack this together. And that's the best that thing that could happen, because this could have been really chaotic from the defense side. But it has not been. From their side, it has been super cohesive. It's actually real rare that we even see them disagree with each other. So, yeah. All right, now let's get started. Let's get started. Okay, so this is Doug Weinstein's, and Doug Weinstein, I'm sure we all know this by now. I know we are all experts, so we know who's who, but Doug Weinstein represents Yak, Diamante Kendrick, and he filed after they got this transcript. We also got to talk about Miss Bumpus. Lord, listen, y'all, we got to get to how they playing with Miss Bumpus too, because I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all. I'm not feeling it. I think there's super disrespectful things happening. You can't. It's gonna be connected to me. Yeah, there's some real disrespectful stuff going on. Ms. Tasha said, I've watched the defense attorneys be so respectful to Glanville, and he came in with his mind made up. Like, what do you want them to think? What do you want them to think when the prosecutor is saying, I see such and such happening, and the judge is saying, I agree, I see it too. I've been watching it too. All right, so let's get into it, because Doug Weinstein is a master with the verbiage, okay? Comes now Diamante Kendrick, petitioner by and through his undersigned counsels, and brings this supplement to motion for mistrial showing as follows. Outside agitator. I'll call him back. Outside agitator is a term that delegitimizes internal dissent against the status quo. Now, when I first read, I haven't read through this whole thing, but when I first read this, I was confused because I had not read the transcript, so I don't even understand why he's defining outside agitator. I'm really confused as to what's going on. I'm like, Kayla Bumpus talked about this, Ms. Bumpus talked about this earlier, or maybe it was yesterday on her live. I watched it and she was saying that they didn't know that they were getting a second ex parte transcript. They just thought they were getting some additional transcript related to the June 10th ex parte meeting. So they go home, read this transcript, and realize it's from the Friday before. All right. So anyone who speaks up against the status quo, whatever that is by definition an outsider. He's citing Professor Dylan C. Penningroth, UC Berkeley. Judge Glanville making outrageous allegations against members of the defense team in the present case. But I think it does in some way outside agitators and everybody else who I think are trying to influence. The third ground argued in Kendrick's motion for mistrial is that Kendrick's due process rights were violated relating to a 14th Amendment due process violation relating in part to Chief Judge Glanville wrongly coercing Copeland to testify. Further evidence of the state and Judge Glanville's violation of Kendrick's due process rights has just come to light. Yesterday after court, Kendrick received a rough transcript, Exhibit A, of an additional secret ex parte meeting with Judge Glanville held on Friday, June 7th, 2024. The rough transcript was helpfully provided by this court to defense counsel. A reading of the rough transcript highlights that which has been obvious to all observers. I agree. Pull your to all observers except for Kendrick's counsel. Ooh, I feel for him. Except for Kendrick's counsel for the past 19 months. He's saying, look, I'm taking responsibility. I was too gracious to Judge Glanville and to this court. I was giving way too much deference when they didn't deserve it. That's okay, LaShawn. We just now getting started. A reading of the rough transcript highlights that which has been obvious to all observers except for Kendrick's counsel for the past 19 months. Judge Glanville has been willfully biased and acting as a member of the prosecution team since the inception of this case. I really want y'all to understand how pissed off and how committed they are to this, for them to say something like this. Attorneys, defense or prosecution, they don't confront judges, even and granted it's a little bit different because Judge Glanville is now off the case, but even then, even after he's been recused, to confront a judge in this way, knowing that you're going to continue to practice in this space, knowing that you might be in front of them again, this is them saying, we don't give a damn. This is wrong. It's aggressively wrong, and we gonna talk about it, and we're not gonna let it go. This is a very strong sentiment to put on paper about a judge in general, but a judge that you've practiced in front of, and a judge that is the chief judge of the county that you practice in. They're done. When I say they are done, they have lost all deference. They have lost all respect, and I ain't mad at it. Because I said this before on another live, as a defense attorney, it's you standing between your client's life, and the damn government, the power and the authority of the government. So, it is what it is. I think defense attorneys know that there might come a time where we have to do something like this. But yeah, for them this sentence, for an attorney to put this sentence, and I can't even really put it into words, y'all. But yeah, Kendrick's counsel takes no pleasure. And look, even then, he's still trying to say damn, I hate that I have to say this, but it is what it is. Kendrick's counsel takes no pleasure in alerting this honorable court to this situation, but client obligations require it. Due process requires a fair trial. It is not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Glanville, Love, and Hilton gossip like yentas, which apparently is, I think, a Greek term, over 13 pages of transcript about attorneys SCHARDT, Melnick, and Still. It is not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Glanville, Love, and Hilton assassinate the character of attorney Melnick and attack his integrity, alleging that he is not acting in the best interest of his client, Copeland. We talked about this before. It's the worst thing you could say about a criminal defense attorney. The worst thing you could say about a criminal, Yiddish, that's what it is. I'm sorry, not Greek. You're right, LaShawn. I saw somebody say that. Okay, Danny says it's gonna be denied. Whitaker is not gonna approve anything bad talking about Glanville. I'm gonna say this. I said this right at the beginning. I think that Judge Whitaker kind of popped the balloon on a lot of the excitement that everybody was feeling. Oh my God, this is so outrageous. In the way that she speaks, she's absolutely minimized some of what's going on. And this is why Brian Steele filed that motion to have her reconsider the factual findings of Judge Krause, right? Because remember, Judge Krause, she recused Judge Glanville, but she said, but there was nothing wrong with the meeting. I'm recusing him for something else. The reason why Brian Steele filed that motion is because he doesn't want Judge Whitaker or anybody, especially the state, to be able to not acknowledge the egregiousness of this ex parte meeting. And when I say Judge Krause split the baby, that's what I mean. She got him off the case, but she diminished how bad this ex parte meeting was by saying it wasn't a big deal and I'm just going to find another way to get him off. So that's why he filed that motion. So, all right. It's not a fair trial. Wait, did I read that already? Okay, it's not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Glanville, Love, and Hilton attack attorney Bumpus for allegedly hugging Kendrick and stating that she is incapable of representing Copeland. I'm going to say this and we'll talk about it in a minute, but I watched Kayla Bumpus's live about this. I heard her explanation. Not for starters, I struggle to give this prosecution team any sort of like I'm constantly questioning everything they say, constantly. So I was desperate to hear what Kayla was gonna say about what actually happened, because when I read the trial, I'm like, I don't even believe that it happened that way. But and sure enough, she said it didn't. Sure enough. So, all right. It's not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Love lies to Glanville about an email she received from attorney Melnick. It's not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Glanville starts talking about outside agitators, stating, my comments today were predicated on there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and it shouldn't have to do anything with you all's case. It really shouldn't, but I think it does in some way. Outside agitators. It's not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Glanville and Love have the following outrageous conversation. Court, but I think it does in some way. Outside agitators, Miss Love, that too. The court and everybody else who I think are trying to influence Miss Love. That is absolutely happening. It's not a fair trial when Glanville, Love, and Hilton have further discussion. Miss Hilton, there's a lot going on. Miss Love, there's a presence. Yes, that's all I'll say. The court, I mean, but I see it from just being in the courtroom and tracking. Y'all. How many violations of the Georgia Code of Judicial Conduct does it take to get a mistrial with prejudice? This case is like an old house that the present honorable judge is tasked with renovating. Every time a piece of pasted up wallpaper is removed, more rot is found. Ooh, rot. That just gave me chills. More rot is found hidden underneath. No. Hold on, I lost my spot. No Herculean effort by the present court can fix the due process violations of the last judge. This house must be torn down. I love the metaphors and the similes, y'all. A mistrial should be declared and retrial barred due to prosecutorial misconduct and judicial misconduct that has goaded Kendrick into the present motion. One of the defense's other theories, of course, has been that basically they're whooping their ass so bad that they are trying to force them. I'm sorry, baby. Cover your ears. That they're trying to force them to cause a mistrial. Which Ms. Love had a pretty good response to that, but that's neither here nor there. Wherefore Kendrick respectfully continues his request, yada, yada, yada. He's asking for what we know he wants, which is a mistrial. Let's get into this transcript. Okay. Yep, first of all, that was months ago when she hugged them in court. Correct. And I want to talk about that. Please, Miss Sasha, don't let me get off without talking about that. Because this goes back to the duty of candor, and providing context to things, right? And this another reason why this ex parte situation is so terrible, because Miss Love, Miss Hilton are not providing context. They're not being honest. And they can't really provide context because apparently they weren't even present when all this is going on. But furthermore, they're able to say what they want to say in front of Judge Glanville without it being checked, without there being any other perspective. And that's a problem, especially when what you're saying is direct, like you're talking about the other professionals involved in the trial. All right. Okay, so this is apparently at 2:45 p.m. I meant to go back and look at that date to see how long they were on break, because I just kind of imagine everybody went their separate ways while they were on break. But now it looks like the state and the judge are going back to chambers while the defense is working or at lunch or whatever it might be. Okay, Jamie says, I think it's a problem that Sylvia is streaming when she's hanging out with Woody posting selfies. So here's the thing, right? I'm a little, like, I can only speak for myself. I'm not a journalist, right? I'm an attorney that is interested. I am absolutely biased. I'm a defense attorney. I do my best to try to, when there's something happening on the other side that I think is good or fair, I don't have a problem saying that. But I know that I'm biased, right? So I don't claim to be a journalist. I don't claim to be neutral. I'm not. I'll call balls and strikes, but I have strong opinions about what's going on. I don't know if Miss Sylvia is the same way. I don't really, I've watched some of her videos, but I haven't like followed her other than a couple of, different videos. So that's a really good point that Jamie brings up in general. Like the media in this case, whether or not they are acting as journalists, or whether or not they're inserting themselves in the actual case. That's valid. That's valid because we don't want people in general. This is not about Miss Sylvia in specific, but in general, you want, unbiased news essentially. If news is what you're looking for, but I don't know if what Miss Sylvia is doing is news and she's a journalist, or if she is biased like me. I don't know. Miss Sylvia is another streamer. She streams the trial, and from what I can see, she does like a lot of just in general content about like court cases and other things in Fulton County. Jamie says, if it were my family on trial, I wouldn't be happy with it. Sylvia's a YouTuber, not a journalist. Right. So I don't know. I honestly don't know enough about her page. I know if I'm a journalist, if what I'm doing is unbiased news, then I wouldn't attempt to communicate with anybody. Or I would, if I'm going to communicate, I'm going to communicate with them to get the news as opposed to building relationships with them, because you don't want to be an influence on what's actually happening in the courtroom. I agree. Yep. Okay. Yes, Miss Tasha, we're about to get into that too. When they break, do the clients break with their lawyers? Yes. I mean, they're in custody, so they can't leave the courtroom. So what I suspect is happening is that they stay in the courtroom with them to continue to work. The attorneys can leave, so they probably go to lunch, but I'm suspecting, that they stay in the courtroom and continue to work. That's what I do. Like in the midst of trial, I just continue to work. All right. Okay. Transcript. Miss Love, Judge, the reason that I wanted to specifically wanted to talk with you is that I have a concern about the representation being made of the representation of Mr. Copeland. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the day that she was saying, she was kind of alluding to, I saw them winking at each other in court. I believe so. They don't break. Miss Tasha, you mean the prosecutors don't break when the attorneys break? So honestly, Juanita, I think it depends on the courtroom. It depends on the deputies that are in the court. It depends on that, because if you're in a relaxed courtroom, they might not care. There's some courtrooms it's very strict. You can't bring no outside food in there. They won't let your clients eat. They want all kinds of stuff. Sometimes it just kind of is what it is. We're in court. They're not going nowhere. Sometimes they might even be chained to the tables and whatnot. So it really depends on the courtroom that you're in. I was asking Ms. Tasha, are you saying that the defendants don't break with the attorneys or the prosecutors? Like they're doing something else when the defense attorneys are on break? All right, y'all. Let me pull out my streamer requests. So we got 551 likes. And yeah, we got 551 likes. Y'all do me a favor, like, share. If you are watching from YouTube, go ahead, subscribe, comment, all that great stuff. Like, share, all that great stuff. Okay, back into the transcripts. All right, I'm concerned, and I'm sort of not. I wanted to just bring it to the court's attention. Mr. Melnick has not conveyed to either Ms. Hilton, myself, or any member of the state any legitimate concern that he has regarding Kenneth Copeland testifying. Is this before or after the emails? The emails come that weekend before, right? Thank you, Valerie. Am I tripping, or do y'all remember, did the emails come that weekend or before? If they came before, then what Miss Love is saying is a lie, right? Because he emailed saying y'all are going to get him killed. But also, there is a misconception that these defendants owe the state, these defendants, witnesses, whoever, that they owe the state some kind of explanation for what they're doing and what they're not doing. They don't. Not at all. Thank you, LaShawn. Thank you, Miss Valerie. So, okay. I think this may be, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt right now, though, and say that this came before the emails. I think the emails were happening over the weekend, right before that Monday meeting. I think. Thank you, Miss Tasha. Okay. What we've seen is physical interactions with persons besides Mr. Y'all, this is delusion. This is delusion of the highest. Okay, this is delusional. Oh my goodness. Besides Mr. Copeland, that would indicate that Mr. Copeland is not Mr. Melnick's primary priority. This shit is crazy. This is crazy. What we do know is that when the fact that he's willing and wanting to leave, number one, he left twice after court, ordered him to speak with his client, and it would seem his actions convey it is not Mr. Copeland's best interest. Now, here's why, and this is what I mean by delusion, right? According to Mr. Melnick, he had a pre-planned trip that had been planned since December, if I'm not mistaken. I vaguely remember him saying December, but either way, pre-planned trip. How was he supposed to know not only that it was going to take y'all a whole damn year to pick a trial, but that his client it had to be pure coincidence, right? Think about all the random breaks, all of the 2-3 days at a time that, the jury is out. This juror has a doctor's appointment. Judge is sick. This person has COVID. All of this stuff that caused delays in the trial. How was Mr. Melnick supposed to know? And sometimes life happens like this, right? Damn. The day I gotta go is the day my client had to take the stand. There's no way he could have. There's no way that he could have planned that. There's no way. No way he could have planned it. And unless somebody tells me he was lying, he went on a trip. He was unavailable. There's no way he could have planned that. So even that is a problem. Like, what point are you trying to make? That because he went ahead with a trip that he previously planned, he's representing not a defendant in a case. So it's not like I need to clear my schedule because I'm going to trial. I think Woody's like witness number 72 or something out of God knows how many. How was he supposed to? This stuff like this kind of logic really bothers me, because I think as attorneys, we have a responsibility to not come to like ridiculous conclusions like this, because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it don't make no damn sense to me. This makes no sense to me. Oh, he left him basically. What was he supposed to do? He didn't leave him high and dry. He left him with representation. Miss Bumpus, you just mad. You're mad because you don't like that this attorney is not bowing down to you. This witness is not bowing down to you. And that pure, maybe coincidentally, maybe not. It doesn't matter. It's none of their business. But that the attorney that stepped in is somebody that knows these people and has relationships with them. So what she's doing and what they're all doing is taking wet tissue and throwing it at the wall. That's what they're doing. But this is not logical. This is not logical reasoning. I'm concerned about whether or not he has his best interest at heart because he went out of town on his pre-planned vacation. That's nonsense. Miss Hilton was out speaking with Mr. Copeland at Mr. Copeland's request. Do I even believe that? No. I don't even know if I believe that it was at Mr. Copeland's request. At the time that I announced that Miss Hilton was calling Mr. Copeland, what I did not know is that she was trying to tell you to give us a minute because Mr. Copeland was feverishly, and I'll let her speak as to how it went down, feverishly trying to get her in there to convey something to her that Mr. Melnick had just said to him that did not come from any of us. She's talking about the whole, they're going to drill you. Again, that's not logical, right? Mr. Melnick is Woody's attorney. He's not limited to repeating to Woody what you said. His literal responsibility is to take the information, analyze it, and give him legal advice. So if he analyzes situation, obviously he's talked to his client. He know his client about to get up there and act a damn fool that he don't want to testify. Woody, they're going to drill you. When you get up there and you don't say what they want you to say, they're going to drill you. That is legal advice. He is preparing his client for what's about to happen. That's what he's supposed to do. I don't even understand how this is a thing. He said they're going to drill you. And it's almost a little bit ironic because they're claiming that Melnick is colluding with Brian Steele and with Max SHARDT to get Woody to testify negatively for the state. But underneath this argument that he told them that we were gonna kill him on the stand or whatever the term was. Underneath that is the idea that we want you to make him feel comfortable about us asking him questions. We want you to ease him in so that he answers the questions in a way that we want. They're actually indirectly asking Melnick to not do what's in Woody's best interest, which is advise him of what the consequences are going to be when he gets on the stand. I agree, Jamie. I don't know how it's going to, I don't know how it keeps going from here. You okay? Okay. All right. The court. What was that, Miss Hilton? Miss Hilton, so let me just put the order of operation. I got up because Deputy Long said he wants to talk to you. Come out right now. Deputy Long is also not in this meeting, so we don't know if that's what Deputy Long actually said. If he said it like, oh, it's urgent, come out immediately, he wants to talk to you. That's the way she's conveying it. We don't know that. So when I went into the room, Melnick either came in or came outside. Not even sure what she means. And what Mr. Copeland said, and I think that he wanted to get some autonomy. Based on what? What do you think that based on? How do you come to that conclusion? And this is the problem with them being able to sit in there and talk to the judge without anybody checking them, right? How do you get to come to the conclusion that he wanted some autonomy? So when I went into the room, Melnick either came in or came outside, and what Mr. Copeland said, and I think he wanted to get some autonomy. I want to talk to you. He's like, I've already talked to you, but I want to talk to her. And Mr. Melnick kept like blocking him being able to talk to me. Again, why are you framing it like that's a problem? If I'm in a fucking room with my client and there's a prosecutor in there, I don't care if my client is a witness or a defendant. I don't want my client talking to a prosecutor any longer than what they need to be, which is while they're on the stand. I don't want my client to want to, that is sound legal advice. Listen, be careful. Please don't do this. That's what you want as a defense attorney. You don't want to advise your client to just openly talk to a prosecutor, not your client that's a witness that at this point apparently might not even have immunity yet, and that could be prosecuted going forward. Like, I'm confused. Okay. I want to talk to you. I've already talked to you, but I want to talk to her. And Mr. Melnick kept like blocking him from being able to talk to me. So eventually I was like, well, clearly you want to talk to him, so I'll step out so you can come in. Right. Let me get to my client before you talk to him. Thank you. Nothing wrong with that, y'all. Nothing. Mr. Melnick spoke to him, and I think he was trying to eat up time because he knew that you were coming out. Based on what? Assumption. Based on what? What are you basing that on? As opposed to I'm defending my client. I'm preparing my client for what's about to happen. Like the way that they immediately assume negativity on behalf of anybody that is that's not associated with the prosecution's office. But at the same time, you got detectives and investigators being accused of sexual harassment, et cetera, et cetera. It's mind blowing to me. It's mind blowing to me. Okay, so eventually, all right, so by the time I got back in there, he started to talk. That's when everyone said, come on, the judge is waiting. And that's why he stormed in angry. Miss Love, he being Mr. Copeland, Miss Hilton, because I think he was trying to convey to me some concerns he had. And so I was trying to have that conversation because Mr. Copeland and I have been having really good conversations since Friday, like very good conversations. Just not even about the facts of the case, but just about life experiences. I can promise y'all, I promise y'all, Woody was not confiding in her because he thinks, oh, she's a great person. This is them making small talk, trying to communicate and humanize this whole situation. And manipulation to get them to testify favorably. That's what's going on. You want to answer it? Okay, I'll call him back. Okay. So I think I was building a rapport with him such that he thought I lied to him. So I was trying to explain to him. Miss Love. And by that, she means today. Miss Hilton, today, about what was going to happen. Miss Love, because of what Mr. Someone conveyed to him. Miss Hilton, we believe that something was being conveyed. What happened is, as Mr. Copeland was walking back into the courtroom, Mr. Melnick and Julie would have to, Miss Landsquat, not sure. Would have to confirm this, but he said they're going to hammer you. And that made me ask Miss Love, did you say something about hammering him? And I don't know who. So let me just say this. I didn't really understand why they kept like hanging on to this whole they're going to hammer you situation. I didn't get it. It didn't appear to be a big deal to me. Are y'all able to see me? Y'all, did I off center my my screen this entire time? Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I must have clicked something. As Ashley, how does it make you feel as a lawyer? It seems wild to me. It is wild. It is wild. Like, it's just, we've lost sight of the facts of the case, of what's going on. It's just, it was already too much. Just the amount of information involved in this case was already too much, right? The efficiency, the amount of money that's being spent on this trial was already overwhelming. And now we have like dove off into this 2-3 month, hiatus to sort through all of these damn issues. I'm not an appellate attorney, but I don't think you have to be an appellate attorney to recognize how ridiculous an appeal in this case would be. Like, it's insane. Insane. Hey, Jeff. Yeah, it's shocking. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, so all right, we are at 2,800 likes, y'all. I have a 10,000 like goal for this live, so y'all please help your girl out. All right, let's keep going. Okay, where was I? We believe something was being conveyed. Okay, did you say anything about hammering him? So yeah, the whole point of this whole hammering him, they are trying to point out to Judge Glanville that the only reason Woody is testifying the way he's testifying is because Melnick changed his mind. Melnick convinced him to testify this way because Melnick is colluding with Brian Steele and with Max Sharp. That's what they're trying to say. Basically, that's basically it. This whole he's hammering him, that's the point they're trying to get across. Oh, before this whole thing with Melnick, before Melnick introduced himself into this, which again, Kayla Bumpus talked about this. None of your business. How Melnick got introduced to this case is none of your business. You don't know what relationship, what agreement, what understanding Melnick has with Woody, and it's none of their business. It's not for them to question. Yes, Ashley, that's his lawyer. Exactly. But okay. Miss Love, nobody did. Eva, I think you're on camera. You're on camera. Okay. All right, the court. It doesn't make sense you would say that to him. Sir. We talked about this on one of my first lives. Judge Glanville. Why are you constantly caping for them? How come every time somebody makes an accusation or somebody says something negative or there's some kind of implication, you are constantly bringing it back to, oh, no, I know you. You wouldn't do that. Yes, he is. Yeah, he is. I know he had military experience. I didn't know specifically what it was. But yeah, why are you constantly like, does it make sense you would say something like that? It would make sense if you were trying to manipulate him. If you were saying, look, you might as well just go ahead and give it up. Because if you don't, we're going to make your time on the stand hell. Anyway, Miss Love, we never said that. The court, but anyways, okay, Miss Hilton. So whatever that communication was, that's when he stormed in and got angry. And the result I got was what he gave when we started. And there we have it. So whatever was said to him, that's what made him testify. That's what made him tell me to back up. And I smelled like, no, it's not. No, it's not. If Melnick never showed up, Woody would have been doing the same thing. That I believe. So at this point, I'm very concerned. He, meaning Mr. Copeland, stormed in and got angry. Miss Hilton, the timing of everything is very ironic. We laid it out on the record earlier about what happened, and I don't believe that Mr. Copeland's best interest is being served at this moment. And who's going to serve it? Who's going to serve it? Like, are you saying with a straight face that it's the prosecution that's going to serve it? And that the reason that because if it was the opposite, right? If Woody didn't want to testify and Mr. Melnick was convincing him aggressively to say what the state wanted him to say, they would not be in there saying, I don't think his best interest is being served. It's only because what is happening is not favorable to them. And this type of, it's so disingenuous. Like, it's so disingenuous. They're not worried about his best interest, his best legal interest. They're not worried about that. All right. You see yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Miss Love. Oh no, Miss Hilton. I mean, Mr. Melnick was willing to take a vacation and let him languish in jail. And that is not, we have communicated that we never wanted Mr. Copeland to go to jail. With a straight face, y'all. We don't want him in custody. We don't want any of that to occur. We don't want it to occur. We just using it to manipulate him to say what we need him to say. Miss Love. And Mr. Melnick has not spoken. He has not relayed what we did. What we did get during the break was an email from Mr. Melnick. I don't know if he had to have blind copied someone else. The only two people I could see on the email were Miss Hilton and myself, but he referred to me in the third person and said, these are the communications between myself and Miss Love. So I asked Mr. Melnick, whose interests are you concerned about? Your clients or Mr. Steele's and Mr. Shart's? Because prior to, and this is not the first time Mr. Copeland has said he doesn't represent me. This is not the first time Mr. Melnick has, and let me be real clear, when we spoke of what was happening before him representing Mr. Copeland and he told me that he didn't represent Mr. Copeland. The court, Mr. Melnick told you, Miss Love, yes, Mr. Melnick told me previously he wasn't representing him. The court says you would not speak to an unrepresented party. I mean, I know you know enough of the rules to know that if you thought or intimated that somebody was represented by counsel, you would go ahead and let them contact that lawyer. Like, what am I supposed to do? If I'm in this situation, I'm a defense attorney, and this prosecutor did something wrong that I think is wrong, what am I supposed to do when the judge is saying, you wouldn't do that? You know better than that. What am I supposed to do? Literally. Hi, Rashonda. I saw a couple people just trickling in. All right. Miss Hilton or Mr. Copeland would have said, because I don't know as a witness, because he's not charged, if we would have had to. Miss Love, right. Because he's not charged. I don't think you have to, because there's no pending charges. But if he told you, I got a lawyer, I don't want to talk to you. So what they're saying, what the judge is saying is, technically, because he's not a defendant, he's not, you don't have to talk to a lawyer first to talk to him, right? But I know that you know better, and you wouldn't talk to him just to be sure. And I'm not willing to give the state that kind of benefit of the doubt. I'm not willing to give them, especially not in a case like this, where it's clear how bad they want to prosecute this case. I think if there's any rule that they can get close enough to without breaking technically, that they would probably do it, because this is a case that they really want to prosecute. So that's not something that I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, that they would never, do that. But Ms. Love says we would have left the court because people counsel that they have under retainer or something else, or they say, hey, I got a lawyer that I use for everything and I want to talk to him. I'm not comfortable talking to you unless my lawyer is present. Come on, judge. Come on, judge. He's saying if he had a lawyer, he would tell you he has a lawyer. Y'all, there's a reason that Miranda rights are scripted the way they are, right? Like Miranda rights, and it's crazy. I have a issue similar that I'm dealing with right now on a case that I'm handling. Miranda is written so that we take into account how like oppressive it is to be in the face of the law, right? You might be the strongest person, have the strongest personality, but your behavior might be a lot different when you in the face of a police officer, when you are in front of a judge. The way that you might be willing to stand up for yourself and say, no, I'm not doing this. The pressure of the government is so strong that the law recognizes, right? This is why Miranda is so powerful in certain circumstances, because the law recognizes how coercive the government can be, the government and, you know, the powers that be can be. So the idea that, like, if this were true, we would never have motions to suppress, for like nobody would ever say anything, nobody would ever confess, there would never be motions to suppress statements if this were true. That's just not how it goes. People talk to the police all the time. People talk to prosecutors all the time against their own interests, and without really considering what the legal effect is. So that's not true. But anyway, we've done that with a number of our witnesses here, so this would have been no different. Ms. Love, exactly. And we would have, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Ms. Hilton, no, go ahead. That was it. We actually communicate, especially when either they are incarcerated or subject to having their sentence revoked as a result of their testimony because they pled guilty here. We only reach out to them through their attorney because we want the attorney to speak to them, and for that to be, because that's the best way, in our opinion, to get a rapport that elicits truthful testimony, I guess. So in this particular instance, there was not that, number one. There was not that communication made by Mr. Copeland that there was ever a need for that. Again, he's also not being arrested, right? You have people that don't recognize they should talk to an attorney even when they are being arrested, let alone somebody that's just a witness and not being prosecuted. And two, there was not a need for us to be concerned about it because he doesn't have charges. Correct. She's literally saying, well, we would have waited for his attorney, but we weren't worried about that because he wasn't being charged. All right, y'all, we are at 3,500 likes. I have a 10,000 goal. Y'all help me out. Make sure you share. Make sure you go ahead and follow me if you are already not. Okay. Ms. Hilton explained to him at length that whatever happened that he did in 2015, which is all we're going to be talking to him about, the statute of limitations has run. He didn't do the murder. We know that. Come on, y'all. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? He didn't do the murder. We know that. How y'all know that? And specifically, how do y'all know that when 99% of the information that y'all have about the murder came from him? How do y'all know that? How could y'all know that? How could y'all know that he didn't do the murder? Were y'all watching the video the videos that I watched of, you know, the evidence related to the murder? I didn't see people. I saw vehicles driving by with people shooting out of them. I didn't see who was in those vehicles. I didn't even see the people that y'all are claiming were there. Specifically, namely, Demonte Kendrick, right? They're claiming that he's the one who set this whole thing up and left the gas station and did all of this stuff. Where's the video? Where's the video? Most of the information so far that we've seen about this murder came from Woody. Do y'all think that if he did commit the murder, that he was going to walk in there and lead with that? Hey, I committed the murder, and then these are all the other things? Absolutely not. Make it make sense. How could y'all know that? This is the best. This makes sense because y'all want it to make sense. But you can't know that. You okay? You can't know that. All right. I mean, so I don't want to get into the facts of anything. What I'm trying to get what I'm trying to get at is the fact that Mr. Copeland, I believe Mr. Melnick has inserted himself in a way that jeopardizes the best interests of our witness. Not your responsibility. Not your job. You don't care. You don't care. You don't care. Right. Right. Come on, Danny. And they locked him up for saying murder and let him go. We know he didn't do it. Did you know he didn't do it when you arrested him for it? You don't even know what happened because there has not been a conviction. No one has been tried seriously as it relates to this murder. All right. I believe that in conveying to the court that Miss Bumpus is going to stand in. Here we go, y'all. Is going to stand in his stead. Miss Bumpus has been, she was, what is the word I'm looking for? You looking for being messy. She's about to be messy. The sheriff had to speak to her because she was in the courtroom trying to hug Jeffrey Williams. Let me explain to y'all why I have a problem with all of this, right? Okay. First and foremost, Miss Bumpus is at one point was handling criminal defense cases, right? She's an attorney that at any given time could have interacted with these people in a professional way, right? It's clear that she knows, she's from Atlanta. She knows people as well, but she's also an attorney that has interacted with them. The way that she was trying to hug Jeffrey Williams, and you're talking about her like she is some starstruck bimbo running around clout chasing in the courtroom. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Because when Melnick said that he was leaving, he invited her to, she's obviously respected as an attorney, right? Woody respects her as an attorney. Melnick respects her as an attorney. And I have a serious problem with trying to paint her as like I don't even know. It rubbed me the wrong way. And I don't know if it's there. We about to find out. But they don't include that this happened way before she was covering for Melnick. Way before. According to Ms. Bumpus, this happened maybe a month before all of this started going on with this ex parte meeting. No, she hugged Diamante Kendrick, Miss Hilton says. Miss Love, I'm sorry. The reason why Miss Love is saying I'm sorry, let me tell y'all why she's saying I'm sorry. She's saying that because she wasn't there when it happened. She is repeating what somebody told to her. She is repeating what somebody else said to her to the judge without Miss Bumpus being there to defend herself, right? Without all of that. So now imagine that on Monday in this meeting, Judge Glanville is in this meeting with Miss Bumpus there, and Miss Bumpus is there being as professional as she can and trying to manage with what she has in front of her, all while they had this discussion behind her back. Yes, Casey, hearsay. Hearsay. Statements made outside of court being asserted for the truth of the matter. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, she was not there. All right. So Miss Hilton is correcting Miss Love because apparently Miss Hilton was there. Miss Hilton, in fact, she hugged Diamante Kendrick and hugged Mr. Williams, and that's how Captain Kendall saw her, and Captain Kendall had her taken out. Miss Bumpus said that's a flat out lie, and I believe her. She was not removed from the courtroom. It is not out of the ordinary for defense attorneys to see people that they have represented, that they have, that they know, to interact with them, right? That whole idea that like these are humans that know each other, that have relationships. And just because somebody has been arrested, now, if you would have said, hi Chachi, hey Kuda, if you would have said it was inappropriate because he's in custody, you know, that you shouldn't have interactions with a person that's in custody. That's one thing, right? That's for the sheriff and the corrections officers to handle. That's one thing. That's valid. He's in custody. You can't touch him. That's probably what would have happened in Miami. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, you can't, no contact with him. You can't hug him or you know, whatever. Maybe. That's one thing, but that's not what she's saying. She is talking like, oh, Miss Bumpus is starstruck. You know, she's starstruck with these defendants. So how could she be representing Woody? I have a problem with that. And they're not being honest about the way that it happened. She expressed dismay and concern in challenging her right to go interact in that manner with defendants. How do you know, Miss Love? Because you weren't there. You weren't there. Apparently they had some kind of interaction outside of the courtroom, but she wasn't there. All right. So our concern is that it is not Mr. Copeland's best interest. That's not your concern. Your concern is that he's not giving you what you want. That is your number one concern. And nobody believes anything other than that. Nobody believes you when the judge don't even believe that. He might not say it, but the judge does not believe that. People can't help who they know. No, she not. Exactly. Exactly. Like, these are people that she has relationships with for whatever. Maybe it's personal. Maybe it is personal. But it doesn't matter whether it's personal or professional. As you know, as an attorney, it doesn't even matter. The idea that somehow she's done something wrong because she interacted with them in court. She has, remember, at the time, she has nothing to do with this case. She does not represent anybody on this case at the time that she's having this interaction with them. She couldn't have known that when Woody took the stand that they were going to ask her to stand in. She couldn't have known that. There's no way she could have known that. All right. And that's not the only. And then not only is that the case with respect to Mr. Copeland, who we have no interest in prosecuting, not because you think he's innocent. You don't have any interest in prosecuting because you want him to testify for you. Point blank, period. If he was not testifying for you, you would be calling him dangerous and a gang member and a thug and a murderer and all of that stuff the same way you're doing with everybody else. Like, this kind of stuff makes me want to vomit. But there is a tampering of sorts going on in this person inserting himself where Mr. Copeland has been reaching out to speak to Miss Hilton. And that communication is being blocked by someone Mr. Copeland didn't reach out to. Girl, out of line. She's out of line, y'all. Out of line. Hi, LaSarah. Out of line. That's not your business. That Mr. Copeland didn't reach out to. That's not your business how he became involved. If he saw that something was going on and he said, damn, this is one of my clients. This is one of my former clients. I see where this is going. Let me just connect with him. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And it's none of their business. None. All right, y'all. We are at like 9,500. Is that lightning? You see that? Ooh. Y'all, I don't know if that's lightning. Something is going on outside. Y'all, are these fireworks?
I know that.
I'm sorry, y'all. There's something going on outside of my house. And I don't know what it is.
The fireworks.
Oh, okay. Somebody's lighting fireworks. Okay. All right, y'all. Can anyone report an attorney? Yes, anybody can report an attorney to the bar. Yep. I'm sorry, y'all. I live in Miami. And yeah, I just had to make sure. We saw lights and heard booms, huh?
Yep.
We just had to make sure everything was okay. All right. She says, you notice no one said Mr. Copeland called me. He never said, when we put him on the record, when Ms. Hilton said, the way I understand it, Mr. Melnick reached out to Mr. Copeland because the first time we heard an assertion like, oh, he's going to plead the fifth is when Mr. Melnick sent an email to Ms. Hilton and myself had copied on it Mr. Steele and Mr. SCHARDT last night. Listen, Juanita, gotta be ready at all times. You never know. Listen, okay, it's Miami. Okay, so she's referring back to the idea that, well, it was all good until Mr. Melnick showed up. He was gonna do exactly what we wanted him to do until Mr. Melnick showed up. They're not really hiding what their real concern is. The real concern is, damn, he got an attorney. Like, damn, he went and got an attorney. But the whole idea that he was going to say what they wanted him to say before, who believes that? Nobody believes that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. All right. Why would he have done that given Ms. Hilton, and that's the state's concern. Ms. Love, that's the point. The court. But here's the challenge. The challenge is you have privileged communications, and unless you've got him being the client, disclosing to a third party that wouldn't be the subject to the privilege. That's the only way you're going to, Ms. Love. I don't disagree with that at all. But if Mr. Melnick, and the thing is, the thing that got me the most is Mr. Melnick is not looking at Mr. Copeland saying, you know, Mr. Copeland, I want you to stay out of jail and I'll be here with you. How the hell do you know that? How do you know that that's not the conversation they had? How could you know that? You don't know that. There's no way for you to know that. No way. And if they ask you anything that touches upon something that you and I talked about, I'll stand up and assert your right. He didn't do that. You don't know that. You don't know that. There's no way for you to know that. What he did was he looked over at two people and said, like, he didn't say nothing. Let's be clear. I did what I could, shrugged his shoulders, and held up the palms of his hands like this as to say, I tried. Yeah. Delusion and a stretch. Delusions. This is delusion. And I'm not saying, let me be clear, not saying that they're not entitled to, observe what's going on and come to conclude, like, of course. But if the best that you can say is Melnick turned around and looked at him and shrugged his shoulders, maybe they bonding over the fact that they don't like you. Maybe that's why he shrugged his shoulders, because he's irritated about the fact that y'all have had 25 hours of testimony from Woody for 10 years and didn't bother to give him immunity until 30 minutes before he was going on the stand. Maybe that's why he shrugged his shoulders. All right. The court, well, there's a lot of innuendo that they have asserted themselves. They, being some of the defense counsel, have inserted themselves in this particular process. And that's what Miss Love... Wait, I'm sorry. The court is saying this? Wait, hold on, y'all. Hold on. I had to take it a step back. The court is saying there's a lot of innuendo that they have asserted themselves in. Being some of the defense counsel have asserted themselves in this particular process. The judge is saying, I see why Max Sharp was pissed off. The judge is absolutely, and maybe he wasn't. No, I can't even give him that. I'm trying to give him a little leeway. The judge is like piggybacking off of what the state is saying. Well, they have been involving themselves in this whole process with Woody a lot. That's what the judge is basically saying. Miss Love, my concern is that Mr. Melnick's insertion of himself. That should not be your concern. That's not your concern. It's not your concern. It's not your business. Not your concern, not your business, and no way for you to ever know if that's what happened. Yeah. The court, what are you asking me to do? Shouldn't be asking you to do nothing. Shouldn't be asking you to do anything at this ex parte meeting. Yep. What are you asking me to do, and what do you think that I can do? Let's figure it out together. Miss Love, that's the exercise. We got to figure this thing out together. That's the homework for tonight. I wanted to let the court know that that's what we're looking into right now, because there's a remedy, because I have faith in our law. I love this thing, and I know there's a remedy. Oh, she preaching. I love this thing, and I know there's a remedy, because this can never have been the first time this can never have been the first time it's happened. It has to have been addressed. I just have to find it. Wink. It almost sounds to me like she dry begging for the judge to give her the answer. I love this thing called the law, judge. I know something. There has to be something somewhere. Okay. But I didn't want to be looking for something and not let the court know what I'm looking for. So that you are not caught off guard, basically, on Monday morning or Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. We find it and send it to you. So thank you for allowing us to audience with the court. I just wanted to make certain that we did it properly and got everything on the record. It's our witness. It's not your witness. It's the witness in the case that you called. You don't own the witness. You don't own the witness. Hey, friend. It's not your witness. You don't own the witness, Miss Love. You called the witness, but you don't own the witness. We have conveyed to him that he is shielded from prosecution. We got his back for anything that he talks about on the stand and any use of that. And the thing is that we won't ask him that, but this is what he said. Y'all might not, but they might ask you about some things that I have to assert my right on. And that will be a question by question basis. Again, right? They seem to believe that immunity was going to solve the issue of Woody testifying, and it was never going to solve the issue because he never wanted to testify. It's not that he's scared of being prosecuted for what he did. It's that he doesn't want to testify. That it was never going to work. What he's being influenced to do. Some about Woody tells me there's not much influencing you can do on him. We believe by Mr. Melnick, and it's through Mr. Melnick because, as you saw, Kenneth Copeland said, I will testify. Mr. Melnick, even after that, said he's asserting his fifth. All right. Blah, blah, blah. She's criticizing him more. And she's assuming what their communications look like. But right now, I would rather you stay out of jail. Assumptions. You don't know what their communications were like. Because if I had to guess, my guess is that's exactly what he told Woody. And Woody said, I don't give a damn. I'll go to jail. I don't want to testify. I would rather go to jail. If I'm not mistaken, Woody said that on the stand. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he said that. Whatever. Take me to jail. Instead, you get Mr. Copeland, and you can see through his body language. He gets there in court and he's smiling as if making a show of being taken into custody after this. Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. And it ain't because of Mr. Melnick. Yeah. Miss Hilton, that's his biggest fear. You think his biggest fear is going to jail for not testifying? I think we don't agree about that. And now he's in jail because it's Mr. Melnick's fault that he's in jail. Okay. Imagine the people that put you in jail saying it's your lawyer's fault you went to jail. All you had to do is what I wanted you to do. Lord Jesus. All right, so she's covering the tail end and basically saying, yeah, Judge, I'm just putting you on notice. I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just bringing it to your attention. Miss Hilton, she's about to lose her mind because her biggest concern is that Mr. Melnick is actively harming a human being. I just want us to sit on it. That's her biggest concern. They brought in a man who was shot in the head, had memory issues, obviously struggling, and brought him in without him either understanding or possibly knowing that he was not testifying for the purpose of the person who shot him that's not why he was testifying. But their biggest concern is about Mr. Melnick actively harming a human being when they parade in victims of crimes up and through the courtroom to influence the jury, to get sympathy from the jury. Okay. Juanita, he could file you can always file a bar complaint. But I don't know. What are his, it's not really his case. He's not directly involved with the exception that he represents Woody. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Cause there's not like a, defamation issue necessarily because yes, it got out, but it was done secretly. So the goal wasn't for it to get out. But yeah, I don't know. All right, y'all. I got about another 10 minutes. And I think we can get to 15,000 likes before I'm done. I believe in us. Okay. I'm mad because it's stopping our trial and it's wrong. And that's not how the law is supposed to work. So we have two big old grave concerns that we're working to remedy right now. The court, okay, well, like I said, I think that you brought your concerns to me. Without more, I don't know what else I can do in terms of that. My comments today were predicated on there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the background and it shouldn't have anything to do with Charles' case. It really shouldn't, but I think, and it does in some way, outside agitators. Miss Love, that too. The court and everybody else who I think are trying to influence. Miss Love, that is absolutely happening. Who else is in the courtroom, y'all? Outside agitators, who else is in the courtroom? From my understanding, anybody who's actively viewing, I think there's a separate courtroom. Miss Tasha, if you are on here, please confirm this for me. Are there any family members or spectators other than lawyers and the media in that actual courtroom? My understanding was there was a second courtroom that people could view from, but that it was hard to get inside of the actual courtroom. Because who are the outside agitators other than the defense attorneys? Help me understand. Because who could he be talking about? If you're saying I'm tracking the courtroom, I'm watching what's going on in the courtroom, who else is in the courtroom other than other barred attorneys and the media? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think some of the family are in that courtroom. I know I heard them talking about a second courtroom. I just don't know because we're not really seeing that. And it's been, Lord, it's been 5+ years since I've been in a Fulton County courtroom, so I don't even remember. But size-wise, oh my God, 5 years. Wait, that's 29. No, it's been like 8-9 years. Jesus. Lord Jesus. Sorry, y'all. Just had to reckon with my own age. It's been like 9 years since I've been in a Fulton County courtroom. So I don't really remember size-wise. But ultimately, I don't think this is like a packed courtroom full of random folks. We haven't heard any like disruptions from family members or anything like that as far as I could tell. So who are the outside agitators? So, all right. There's a lot going on. There is a presence. Yes, that's all I can say. Of course, there's a presence. We are talking about a highly successful international superstar. And in this case, 5 other people, but 20 plus other people that he either knows, has employed, grew up with, has worked with or for. What? Of course. Yes, of course there's a presence. There's a media presence. There's a public interest in this case. There are powers that be, there are record labels that are interested in this case. Of course there's a presence. That's life. That's what you have to deal with when you prosecute a case like this. The court, I see it from just being in the courtroom and tracking, but okay. If you find anything, we'll see where Monday leads us. And like I said, since we now know he's going to potentially invoke, we'll see what his pleasure is. Miss Love, just the idea of someone sitting in jail throughout this trial. Help me understand? Just the idea of someone sitting in jail throughout this trial? Ma'am, aren't you objecting to all of the defendants' requests to be released on bail during this trial? This is what I mean by disingenuous. Just the idea of someone sitting in this jail. And now this is no shade to Woody, right? But realistically, from the state's perspective, Woody is just as guilty as the rest of them. He just was willing to give information from their perspective, so he's testifying. So we're giving him immunity. What is different about Woody than all the other defendants in this case that have been filing motions for bond daily, weekly, monthly, trying to get out? You're concerned? It disgusts you to think about that? Just the idea of someone sitting in jail throughout this trial. Y'all let me know. Do y'all believe that Miss Love is concerned about Woody sitting in jail? Let me know. Let me know what y'all think. Please let me know. Do y'all think that Miss Love is concerned about Woody sitting in jail? Because I don't. I don't think that's her concern. And it's offensive to me for them to pretend that they do, like we believe that. We don't. He's going to do what the person he trusts to have his best interest at heart tells him to do. No, love. I just met Woody. I just met Woody, just like everybody else. And all of us that just met him, we don't believe this. He's going to do what the person he trusts to have his best interest at heart tells him to do. He's going to do what he want to do. Woody's going to do what he wants to do. Period. And that person, he doesn't have to tell us what he's concerned about and can just sit there and when he sees the train coming, stand up and say stop. But he's got a vacation to go on, so he can't be here. Girl, shady. Shady. So Miss Bumpus is going to be here. Miss Bumpus, hugging Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Williams, is going to be here representing the interests of Kenneth Copeland, who's supposed to testify against Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Williams. That is where we are. That doesn't pass the smell test. Y'all, I already liked Kayla Bumpus, but she became my favorite. Kayla Bumpus said, and I did, at the time that she said it, I had not read this. So I didn't know. I didn't get it. I didn't understand what she was saying, but I felt the energy enough to know that it had some kind of meaning behind it. So what's the smell test?
Yeah.
You know the answer to it?
No. Can you tell me?
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell everybody. When she got up there, okay, so for anybody who didn't see yesterday's court hearing, Kayla Bumpus filed a Rule 22, which is basically a request to be able to stream, because she wants to be able to stream. She obviously has a growing, budding social media presence and YouTube presence, and she wants to be able to stream. And quite frankly, who better? Because she's been directly involved in a certain way. I think that what she has to say about this trial is valuable, right? So she files her Rule 22, and when she went up there, at first it was clear she wasn't expecting to have to argue anything in court, right? You could tell that just from her like demeanor, that she wasn't necessarily prepared to argue. But so as she's up there discussing the Rule 22, the judge asked her, like, you know, what are you trying to do? And she was like, Judge, I just want to do everything right to make sure I pass the smell test. And baby, when Kayla looked to the left, she gave like this. And I was like, what was that for? I was like, what was that for? Because up until this point, she has not said anything particularly strong about the prosecution. But that look, I know that look. I've given that look before. I know what that look means. It's a problem. We have a problem. That look means you tried me. That look means you played in my face. That's what that look means. So when I went back and read this and saw that Miss Love basically said Miss Bumpus's involvement in this case does not pass the smell test, I realized that that's what she was calling. She was calling back to this transcript and letting Miss Love know, I got your number. And I don't think Miss Love or Miss Hilton at one point during this whole situation, when Max SHARDT was going off, when Kayla Bumpus was called up, I ain't see them even look up. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I did not even see them look up. Not once. Not once. Yeah. This is not normal. This kind of communication in the middle of a trial is not normal. It's not. Not even a little bit. Not even a tiny little bit. So, yeah. That's where we are. So we're back in court tomorrow. Where are we? I mean, we have to address the motions for mistrial. Those are still to be heard. At one point, I thought that it sounded, judges try to be really good about not being obvious about what they're going to rule, even if they come to a conclusion already. But I don't know, just kind of the way, the tone of the judge kind of let me know that she's not like heated about any of this stuff either. And maybe this goes back to what Doug Weinstein and Brian Steele were saying. The way that Judge Whitaker responds and how she's kind of mellow and, be careful about, we want to be careful about the way we talk about, a decorated judge. No, we don't. Not when he's doing something wrong. Not when he's doing something wrong, we don't. Mm-mm. I agree. No, we're gonna say what it is. Um, so yeah. That's what they were talking about when they were saying, I don't think anybody in Fulton County should be on this case. I think that's where they were coming from, because this was the fear that they were going to rationalize it. Even if they found a way to give the defense what they wanted, getting him off the case, that they were going to rationalize the behavior and make it normal or not out of the ordinary. And I don't think, I still have not, other than Judge Krause, who said there was nothing wrong with it. I still haven't seen anybody else agree with them. Even Judge Whitaker didn't say, I don't think there was anything wrong with it. She basically said, Judge Krause said there was nothing wrong with it. So I'm going to go with that. Did you see Still's motion for the statement to the jury? I haven't read it yet. I pulled it up, but I haven't read it yet. You mean his motion to instruct the jury about the ex parte meeting and everything that's been going on? So let me say this before I get off. Point blank period. Let's assume we get past the motion to mistrial and we go back. There's going to be another big blow up when Woody's back on the stand and they go to question him, because every defense attorney that questions him, starting with Brian Still, they're going to do everything in their power to get in front of that jury that Judge Glanville had this meeting. That's going to be the next big fight. When and if the jury ever gets back, that's going to be a big thing. And you heard them kind of saying, oh, Judge, I want to say this. And she's like, well, we'll see when we get there. That's going to be the next big fight. They're going to want the jury to hear all of this. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. You don't blame them either? Eva says she don't blame them either. Mm-mm. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are. Yeah, but overall, no, Danny, I agree. She's been doing a really good job of just trying to get everybody on track and run the smell test. So it's nothing legal. It's just, she's just saying, like, it's not right. Really, Eva? She's just saying it doesn't pass a smell test, as in, like, you know, you sniff it and you could tell, like, you get some food and you sniff it and you could tell something is not right with it. It doesn't pass a smell test, as in something is off about it. Like, I'm not sure what it is, but it ain't right. That's really just what she's saying. So it's not anything like specifically legal. It might have felt that way because of the way that Caleb Bumpus brought it back up. Having not read the transcript, I was like, whoa. And sometimes you'll find like little nuggets like that in case law, right? Where like the court might say, oh, you know, such and such. They might throw a little nugget in there and they say something that attorneys might regurgitate to use when they argue about the case. So I initially, when she said that, it almost sounded like a quote back from some case or some, you know, something related to the Rule 22. Once I read this, I was like, oh, she was just being petty. She was just saying, I see you. That's it. That's it. They're going to let it play out to a verdict so that honestly, I think that's a mistake. Letting it go to a verdict is a mistake because the state is going to spend, oh my God, the appeals are going to be crazy. Crazy. Yeah. So. Jamie, my prediction is that the trial is going to keep going. Why? Because I think that Judge Whitaker, I said this 100 times, this is a life-changing case. It's a career-changing case. I think that this is no shade to Judge Whitaker because I don't know this, but internally she has to be saying, let me show him how it's done. I can whip it back into shape, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I can do, like, she probably really wants to try this case at this point. And again, for her to give a mistrial, the strongest argument for a mistrial is still this whole ex parte situation. But no, I agree. I don't think it should go on. I don't think it can go on fairly. But will it go on? we saw a little bit of leeway. Judge Whitaker was like, I don't know, if I was a defense attorney and people were saying these things about me, I would be pissed off too. We saw a little bit of leeway, but I don't know if she's willing to say, no, this was wrong, this was improper, it was a violation of due process. I don't know if she's willing to do that. Yes, I read the full, so everything that's in the motion. I don't know if this is the complete transcript. I'm assuming it is because it's like, yeah, I think this is all of it. Yeah, I read it.
Yeah.
Bonanzas, right?
What?
Bonanzas.
What do I mean?
Says bonanzas.
Bonanzas.
Does anybody really believe the jurors haven't? I believe they know what's going on at this point. I want to be PC and say, oh, jurors are.
Can I answer a question? Can I answer a question?
I don't know if she meant full or formal. Yeah, because sometimes court reporters will do like a draft thing and then, finalize it at some point. So maybe that's what.
Can I answer a question?
Because this doesn't have like the intro. Normally you will see like a formal intro page. It'll give the date, the time, the parties, their roles in the case. So I think that's what they mean. But it doesn't seem like there's any more information on the transcript.
Can I answer a question?
Question, baby. Yeah, Jamie's crazy. I missed it, Juanita. Hold on. Let me see. I missed it. About the smell test? I missed it, Juanita. My bad. I can't find it. The last thing I see you said was about the smell test. But yeah. So that's my prediction. I think that Judge Whitaker wants to try the case. I think that. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Hey, Uncle.
Eva said hi. Y'all say hi to my brother, Jeff. He is giving me gifts. Thank you. You're so sweet. Oh, and we met our goal. 16.1 likes. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, because they get to kick the can down, right? If they don't have to deal with it. Now, the reverse side of that is when you let the appeals judge deal with it, sometimes the appeals judge can be brutal. The appeals judge can be brutal. They will criticize the lower judges when necessary. So alternatively, you might end up in a situation where the appeal judge, now not Judge Whitaker because she didn't do any of this, but the appeals judge can sometimes be brutal. Like, they will embarrass you. Judges don't like to really be overturned.
So can you pick a question for me to answer?
But they're all legal questions, baby.
Huh?
They're all legal questions.
So why I can't answer? Like, you tell me to answer.
Oh, Nikki, I'm literally wrapping up. But I am going to post it on YouTube. I'll post the whole video on YouTube. I think I've been on for maybe like hour and a half, maybe 2. Possibly. But yeah, I'm gonna post it on YouTube, Nikki. I'm sorry. But I'm posting it. I'll save it and post it on YouTube. And my YouTube name is the same as my TikTok and my Instagram. They're all the same. E.S.QUIRED.
Tell them to go follow me on TikTok.
No, Eva is asking for a shout out, so y'all can go follow her on TikTok. Lord Jesus. Oh, perfect. Okay, Nikki. So I'm gonna post it, create my little thumbnail, and put it up. So you guys will be able to go back and watch anything that you missed. Again, I did not introduce myself. Hi, Mom. My mama just joined.
Hey, Nana.
Yeah, my name is Arian. I'm a criminal defense attorney in Miami, Florida, and South Florida. I practice all throughout the state of Florida. Criminal defense cases, civil rights cases, and some personal injury. If by chance you are ever in need, this is not legal advice. I was going to give that disclaimer, but if by chance you are in need of legal advice, please contact White House Law Group, which is my firm. You can email us at info@whitehouselawgroup or call us 305-697-2353. Thank you, Jeff. I don't do bankruptcy, but if you email me, Juanita, I can refer you to somebody. I don't handle bankruptcy though, but I can send you to somebody. Thank you, Jeff. Look at my brother showing me love. I appreciate you. I really do. Yeah, so normally I do, Nikki. I normally will post like some in my story. Honestly, let me give y'all this before I leave. I'm really trying to work on you know, my scenery and whatnot and making everything nice when I go live. So I'm working on that in the background. Hopefully my next live will be better even than this one. While I grow, I definitely appreciate y'all supporting me. What, Eva?
Nothing.
Oh, I appreciate y'all's support, following and engaging with my content. Please, again, if you don't already follow me, do that. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all of that. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. If y'all see any other cases that you are interested in me discussing, definitely send them to me. And yeah, I mean, that's really it for the night. We'll see what happens in court tomorrow. Should it be juicy enough for a live, I'll try to go live. If not, then I'll be recording, watching, etc., etc. Y'all have a great night. Again, bye. I appreciate y'all. You're welcome, Valerie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Say bye, Eva.
Bye. Bye, y'all.
Eva said bye.